serikali hii ambayo imeongozwa na Mheshimiwa Rais William Ruto ndiyo itakuwa serikali ya kumaliza kutoka Kenya hii shida na aibu ya uhalifu na kutojali sheria.
We have to work hard so that we can justify the faith, the commitment, the sacrifice you have made to make us who we are.
I am really, Your Excellency, very impressed by the Kindiki style of management. Akiamua ni hapa, hata kama ikuta anapitia hapa.
Are instructed to make sure that they only set up a roadblock when there is intelligence of an impending threat that is mobile along that corridor, to conduct searches, very strict searches, but friendly, because we don't want to harass road users. But as soon as that operation, that security operation is achieved, to withdraw the roadblock. However, in the long term, once the country is able to invest, as we are now doing, in the cameras and other IT technology along the highway, even the ongoing physical roadblocks will even be brought to almost minimal. However, the threat of terror remains a major concern, and for the members to appreciate why this is a major concern along the Northern Transit Corridor is that the traditional threat has always come from the eastern part of our borders, either the northeastern frontier counties or the Boni Enclave County of Lamu. However, the complications of the situation in eastern DRC has brought an additional source of terror threats, because some of the armed activities taking place in eastern DRC are now confirmed to be potential breeding grounds for terror cells which are connected to international terror networks. We have already intercepted and thwarted several threats, and at the moment we are seized with an active investigations, which I don't want to say much about, of the incident that happened in Siaya 2-3 months ago, which involved the attack on police officers, where we lost people. And the people we are tracking, evidence is leading us to the connection of a small cell of possible terror-minded criminals around that area, connected to collaborators who might be around eastern DRC and connected to even a bigger international terror network. So again, this is a matter under investigation. It's a matter involving our diplomatic engagement with other countries. I would not want to say more on it, but Chair, in line with the requirement of the law, we are bound to remove all roadblocks. However, because of the threat of terror, we will still maintain limited temporary checkpoints to protect the country from harm. And we have instructed our field commanders and law enforcement officers to be extremely friendly in those searches, in those operations. And when it is established that the vehicle is purely a commercial vehicle on a commercial voyage, they should be facilitated and given assistance to move as fast as possible. They should not be detained inordinately long. So that's where we are. We have achieved quite a bit with the temporary roadblocks, and those who use the other highways in Kenya will appreciate. The Moyale, the checkpoint we have in Moyale has really helped us big time to again counter terrorism along that route, although now the criminals are using alternative routes through Wajir North, Yamicha, Isiolo, Kina, Maua, and getting alternative routes to avoid this. The one in Sabaki in Mombasa, again helping us, and the one in Mwingi, Kanyonyo, the one on that is counter-terrorism roadblock is also helping us. So for the time being, we remain 60% compliant, but 40% we are not compliant for the reasons I have given you. Secondly, Chair, I've been asked to report progress on the issue of passport issuance. I regret to inform you and the committee that we have not achieved the targets that we set for ourselves as government in terms of cleaning up the space and enabling the people of Kenya to access passports when they need them. Our initial assessment, which led me to make the commitment I made before this committee that time, were complicated by new other discoveries and new other state of affairs, some of which are beyond the control of the government of Kenya. But I am happy to announce to you, Chair, and the committee that initially there was a budgetary constraints, a serious budgetary constraint that was helping us, that was making it impossible for us to meet production targets. I'm happy to report that budgetary constraint has been removed. So it's no longer lack of money, and I'm grateful to my colleague in the National Treasury and the other players who have helped us to unlock the funding issue, including allowing the State Department for Immigration and Citizen Services to retain a bit of appropriations in aid to be able to meet the demands. Nevertheless, the demand keep on surging because of the government, the very aggressive government program to export labor, to create jobs for Kenyans who would want to go and work abroad, and the mere expectation that people might need to travel to look for jobs has exponentially increased the demand. When I was here, the backlog was actually less than 200,000. Today it is much more bigger than that, and everybody wants a passport now. So as we fixed the budget, the demand was also exponentially expanding. Number two, there was the little problem of, it's not little, it's significant, of global supply chain of the raw material that is used in the making of the world-class standard passports that is approved by the International Civil Aviation Organization. Because of certain global supply chain constraints, the process, now that we have the money, we have all the money we need to make all the passports for everyone. But the global supply chain, which has been disrupted, I am told, by the war in Ukraine and other things, and other factors beyond the boundaries of Kenya, the people we want to help us correct the mess are telling us the pace at which we want the solution, they cannot provide the solution in that pace. They are saying, for example, we would require approximately 3 million booklets every 90 days. They are saying they can only give us half of that because of some scientific explanations, which we are happy to provide to the committee on around, which you can also verify, because I mean there's nothing secret about global dynamics, and the people who manufacture passport booklets and passport security are known in the world. We have approached all of them. We have literally engaged every effort, but they are saying the demand, because of the time lapse, they cannot supply us the numbers we require to be able to arrest this problem like instantly, because we wanted every 90 days 3 million passports for the next 2 years. Then every Kenyan will have a passport, and we close this story. Then we start now going to schools to look for children who are turning 18 and give them passports immediately, just like the ID, even without applying. And I am convinced, Chair, and I know the public is justified to be skeptical because of, for whatever reason. I am convinced we will reach there. The problem is between here and there. It's taking a little longer, but we will reach there. There is no reason why someone who has paid, they have even paid for the service, by the way. They pay several thousands to get a passport, but we cannot offer it. So we are doing our best, Chair, and I am afraid at the moment we've gotten the money, we've gotten people who can help us with the production process, but they are telling us the speed in which the magnitude of this problem, it will take us another few months before we're in a clean slate and before we can now have that intended policy directive we had given over passports within 7 days. So we are not there. We are doing our best, and I want to absolve everyone else from blame. I will take responsibility for the resolution of the passport mess as the minister and the team leader of the ministry and the Department of Immigration and Citizen Services. We are still cracking down on corruption there. We've made serious progress. We have prosecuted over 17 members of staff. They are in court as we speak. One of them got a heart attack. We arrested him, he got a heart attack because he never believed we will reach to them, because they know many people in town and so forth. We have not that there. There is still reports of corruption, taking advantage of the shortages to demand bribes. But again, the war against corruption in the immigration department is ongoing through overt and covert measures. I submit, Chair.
Thank you. I think you have taken a good time to speak on the two issues, and we are very much time constrained. But for interest of the people from the media houses, this is the Committee of Regional Integration. The Committee of Regional Integration is established under standing order number 212, and as such, we are the custodian of movement of the people from the pillars of East Africa as per our treaty. So we get concerned if our people are not able to move, be it to go to the hospital, education abroad, or even locally. As such, we are also concerned if our trade is slowed down by the NTBs, mainly the roadblock. I'm just clarifying that so that you don't keep on guessing why is the Minister for Interior in the Regional Integration Committee. We work hand in hand with him, with the CS Murkomen, and as you congratulate Treasury, you should congratulate this committee for having fought for the money to remain at immigration. This is the committee which drew this and pushed this, and immediately we were elected in this 13th Parliament. We went to Mombasa to push for that, and we are indeed very happy that the money remains at the source at immigration. However, I'm sure members will discuss with you what are the pieces of legislation to allow them use the money from the source. Because if there is no legal instrument, the money will remain, but they will still not use. With that, I think we have now 20 minutes, exactly 20 minutes, So if you put your question to passport, leave your brother or your sister to put the question for a roadblock so that we all have a fair share, and then we can try to speak, at least each of us. So we will take the first round. I'm sure Waziri, when I see Francis Gashuri there, he can assist in taking questions. So allow us to ask as many as possible. So let's take the first round. Honorable Adipo, Honorable Aseka, Odanga, Yegon. You know Yegon, you're from Bomet, so ukwe makini. Mwalimu, we can take that first round. Quickly, real quick, 1 minute.
Thank you, Chair. Waziri, I was a little concerned about your response, the one you have given us in writing. Although your explanation has removed a lot of my concern. And this was in relation to elimination of all roadblocks, as you put it, across the country, especially in the northern corridor. But then you are taking that statement away by saying that occasionally you will erect the roadblocks. You have given beautiful reasons why you will do that, based mainly on security purposes. So that one I do appreciate. But then my concern is the policemen sometimes are very rude. We would want them to really deal with the public with some decorum, politeness and respect. Maybe this is the point you need to include in that statement so that Kenyans can be happy. The other one I just wanted to mention, it is not what is here, but since you deal with security, it is important that I've got the opportunity to draw this to your attention. In my own constituency, Karachuonyo, I was saying that you have given us adequate police stations. They are there. But you have handicapped them. No vehicle. If something has happened, it is very sad to see a policeman on a bicycle or on a border going to arrest a criminal. It is as if you are killing him. See if you can attend to that.
Thank you. As we proceed, members, restrain asking the constituency manenos here. I can also ask for Kipipiri. This meeting is purely for regional integration. Let us first deal with the two issues on the table. I'm sure Waziri, even as the parliament proceed, you can hang around 10 minutes or such. He's very, very grateful to attend to us personally. Let's proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Waziri.
And purely one question.
No, I'll have two, Chair. Allow me to ask two. Thank you for the relationship, Waziri, you have with the members of parliament, as the Chair has alluded, and even your efforts you are doing to fight the illicit brews and those substances. I can confirm to you that lawyer men are back in the bedrooms, and we really support these efforts. I want you to I want you, Waziri, to maybe give us a percentage.
On a right note, what of other men?
I'm talking about lawyers because I'm a lawyer. The rest needs a lot of time to be rehabilitated because the mess was done. But Waziri, what percentage of A&A is being utilized at the immigration office? Because you said part of it. Can you be having the percentage of it that is utilized and the one that is retained by Treasury? Two, are you aware that our Vice Chair here, Honorable Salah, was assaulted at the immigration office by your officers when he went there to do his responsibility as a member of parliament to represent his people? He was assaulted. Up to now, we have not had any statement from the ministry, nor the PS in charge of migration. We don't know the status of investigation. Will you be kind enough to help us as a committee and the National Assembly to know what happened, the state of investigation, and if any action has been taken on those officers who did assault our Vice Chair and Honorable Member? Thank you.
Thank you very much. In fact, I wanted to ask the same question, but I'm going to ask a different question. Honorable Cabinet Secretary, in regards to the production of passports and the significant number of workers which are trying to go out of the country, what is the government has considered in the impact of all these stuck in production of the passports? What are we going to, what is in place to make sure that at least this one is avoided, the backlog which is going on in the Nyayo House?
Thank you, Honorable Daga.
Chair, mine is to really inform Waziri that in as much as he has said that roadblocks will be there occasionally or in times of need, I want to inform you, Waziri, that the roadblock in Busia, just before you get into Busia town, is there permanently. It does not get out of there. Mine is to ask you to ensure that after the meeting, you instruct that it comes only when it is entirely required. Thank you.
I think it was Mashako.
And you know, these guys are so notorious. They are really harassing Wananchi and collecting a lot of money. Even one day they didn't know that I'm the MP. They almost asked for money from me.
Could have given them.
Sorry, Chair, let me check.
Don't come back. Honorable Mashako?
No, not a question. I will just wanted to support.
They
asked me also for the money. I wanted to support his sentiment.
So they're asking for money.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Waziri, for your presentation and coming to this committee. I have two issues, very brief one. One is to add to what Mheshimiwa Seka has talked about, harassing of our Vice Chair. I think it needs to go to record that it's not only our Vice Chair who was harassed. We have about 5 other members of Parliament who were harassed at Immigration Department at Nyayo House. And this is a matter that, Waziri, is, I want to say here that we really wanted to hear a word from you before members of Parliament discusses this thing in the floor of the House, because it is not right. And we want to connect it with the cartels, the corruption cartels you've talked about. There are people at Nyayo House that don't want to see a member of Parliament going there because they believe that we are unearthing a lot of their underhand deals. So Waziri, the 17 you have reprimanded and taken to court and investigation, I think you need to do more, because there's a lot that is happening at Immigration Department. Number 2, Chair, I just wanted to understand, we informed your office that we would have preferred that you're coming here, you'd have been accompanied by the PS, the State Department of Immigration and Citizen Affairs. Waziri, if you can be candid with us, are you getting enough support from your PS and particularly the State Department of Immigration? Because we tend to feel that there are gaps that needs to be addressed. You're doing a lot, Waziri, but we feel your team is letting you down. Thank you.
Waziri, can we add 2-3 more?
No,
okay.
I just wanted to support my colleagues. Waziri, this harassment of our vice chairman reminds us of the days of Nyayo torture chambers. And we don't know whether now again we are going back to those old days where officers were torturing Kenyans. As a lawyer, I hope you are a professor of law, although I cannot, in your family, I hear when you throw a stone, the chances of eating a professor is 1, that you should have been born on the other side of this country. So can you use that, because you have greater insight of human rights and privileges, that a member of parliament who is a representative of people can be harassed in open daylight? I hear there is a cartel of 10 police officers, including some 2 ladies. Please go there, do your research. Let us see those officers being taken to court. Otherwise, we'll go to Parliament and call you there to answer these questions.
Members, that was the first round. So, Honorable Irene, you are not in that round. So we are going to the second round, which is Honorable Ruto, Honorable Rail, Honorable Masito. Irene, are you interested? Okay. Then Beatrice, Then we shall close with the Honorable Gitare and complete close with Vice Chair, and I'll make the final remarks.
Thank you so much, Chair. In relation to what you said last time, Waziri, and we saw you in action trying to fight the issues of corruption and extortion, is to confirm to you that extortion is still existing, and it looks like it's a systemized way of corruption. Waziri, I don't know what plans are you putting in place to ensure Nyayo House is totally free and Kenyans can be given services. Lastly, we are aware that Kenya has now opened up its boundaries. It's a free visa country. We would want to know preparations you are putting in place that you safeguard the security of this country against foreigners who might be coming with ill motives. And as you are processing this number of millions of passports, this indicates Kenyans are moving away. What is the future of Kenya in terms of labor protection and brain drains? We seem to be opening much, and in the long run, we lose a lot.
My question to Waziri is about the high cost of the passports. Recently, the cost of acquiring a passport has gone high, but we are not seeing that translating into efficiency in that department. So what is the ministry doing to improve that? Secondly, is about the roadblocks in my county. That we have so many roadblocks that have become scene of crime. One of them is one is in Kamatira, another one in Marich. So we, as much as you say those roadblocks need to be removed, they are still there and a disturbing movement of people. And lastly is about my county, Waziri. I know you've been there severally, about the renovation of schools, of the schools that were closed for 5 years due to insecurity. Up to now, the schools have not been opened, so kids are still at home. Most of them are getting lost in the bushes. In fact, I may say they are engaging in bad, or I say banditry. So, Waziri, we need those schools to be open, to operate. Asante.
Thank you, Honabairi. Okay, Waziri, my question to you. The president has been emphasizing too much on labor export, and you know he's very passionate about this issue of labor export. What measures have you put in place, especially now for agents, so that they can be able to process these applications very fast? I am saying that because I had an opportunity to sit down with a few people who are actually giving Kenyans, who are giving us the opportunity. And it was very embarrassing to be told that Kenyans, you guys, you are not ready to take up these jobs, because when we are given the opportunity, especially now like for nurses, the opportunity was there for Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania. So first come, first served. It is not reserved for Kenya alone. So if any time we don't process these passports for them or these applications, then Kenya is losing. And the president will be here telling Kenyans that we are taking you to Saudi Arabia, we are taking you to this and this place, and yet the opportunities are going with Uganda and Tanzania, who are faster than us.
Honorable Gitare.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Waziri. One, we appreciate the work you are doing, especially on illicit bureau. You know, Kirinyaga was a center of many things, but we are seeing changes, even the transfer of police. Waziri, I was just wandering around about the passports. Yeah? Now that we know where we are and the problem we have, two things. Number one, can we have a way of communicating to the general public rather than them queuing day to day, tomorrow and the other day? And maybe we do a prioritize on if it is a medical case and maybe people who are going for employment. We first of all deal with them. The ones who are going on holiday can wait for some time. My thinking, Waziri. Number two, we are happy about the removal of these non-tariff barriers, the roadblocks. But I'm a bit concerned about the impromptu temporary roadblocks because of maybe misuse, like our colleagues are saying. At times they ask for money when they are passing through those. What are we doing in that so that we can have more than 17? The 17 you got from the immigration, even in the roadblocks, we get some culprits and put them
You
to
have
book.
made your point, Honorable Gitari. Honorable Beatrice, half a minute.
Me, Chair. Chair, what about me? As Beatrice is preparing, Chair, can you give me that opportunity? Thank you, Madam Chair. Mine is just to ask Waziri. You've talked that the budget is, you are now comfortable with the budget. The other time you said that you lack budget, but now you are comfortable with the budget. Now the problem is the supplier. What will make this committee believe that you really have a problem with the supplies of the passports, or you are just defending yourself, Waziri? We want you to be very clear. Thank you.
Thank you. Beatrice, half a second, half a minute.
Thank you, Chair. Our series first is to thank you for the way you are working hard on the issues of illicit brews. As I joined my colleagues, they have said they are no longer sleeping under the beds. Our women are also happy to some extent. But let's do more. And my issue is about the passports. I want to appreciate the fact that in Kericho and the passport immigration office was opened. But now our vision is this: if we continue opening more and these passports are not there, what will happen? Our vision is this. And then lastly, about these machines that you've said you're waiting for more, I would imagine that now that you have the money, can we have so many of these machines to print so that we have more passports? Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Waziri, for your in-depth explanation of the questions you've raised. Mine is just an overview of the whole situation I can see. Buona CS, you have done a lot. You came here last time, assured us that even stated that Nya House is a crime scene. You went there yourself, we saw. You've asked for some help. You've asked for budgetary allocation. The minister have been given budget allocation. Some raised the issue of e-citizen. E-citizen now is acquired by the Kenyan government. You ask for more officers. My friend now is leading that more offices have been opened. Staff have been recruited, and I know some are on the recruitment now. Vetting, you've said vetting will also be dealt with. But the question is, you have done as much as you could as a person. You've asked for what you want, and we have given you as Parliament and the Kenyan national government. But the situation is still the same. The tent was on one side. Now it has moved. There's another tent now created in your house. The backlog has increased. The cry is much. Someone is sleeping on the job in your ministry, because you are not the hand person who will be doing the handy job. Yours is to ask for more money, more personnel, more officers. But the person who is supposed to implement is somebody else, your staff. You've told us on the issue of corruption you have dealt with. You prosecuted 17. That is one bit of the aspect. Can you allude to us that there's a problem of implementation in your office? Someone is sleeping on the job. If it's there, who is it? So that the Kenyans can know who is sleeping on that job. Thank you.
Thank you, Waziri. I think you'll try to put all the answers together. But let me be specific on this issue of roadblocks. We counted for you that we identified 27 roadblocks from Mariakani to Busia. Now that they have been removed, how many have remained? So that this committee can go back and actually see that those roadblocks are not there. How many are remaining? In terms of situation of passports, we get very worried if the supplier is not able to supply the material. Because in essence, like that is like saying then I think we have no solution. So we must really work outside the box and maybe adopt a system where we only go on need basis, and maybe in the IT department, they can try to flag some instruments that can only allow those that are needed, so that we go on need basis
Otherwise, if we allow 3 million applicants, while we cannot present even 100,000, then I think we are wasting time for Kenyans, we are wasting resources, and we are creating traffic for not very good use. We had mentioned to the PS that as a region, we may need to take data for the whole region, considering now we have DRC and Somali. And instead of going for these materials all the way from Mata, we may need to put a plant here. And Kenya can lead in this. We can put a plant for this passport, and we can generate the necessary materials that are required, and we supply to the whole region. And we can negotiate even to the west. Maybe we can negotiate with SADC, we can negotiate with IGAD, and Kenya can be the distributor, especially now that we know the Delaru have left. So even the premises are still very much available. In terms of the scene there at Nyayo House, we have visited there as a committee. Obviously, it's horrible. You find expectant mothers, very aged, disabled, who are waiting there endlessly without hope. Something Waziri must happen. We cannot continue waking up tomorrow and the day after tomorrow and even today, watching Kenyans there, sitting, hungry, thirsty, waiting for no results other than when they give their 10,000, 20,000 for them to be served. I think we may need even to come to your office, a few of us, and maybe get other technical team and find a solution. But honestly, we cannot say the raw materials are not there. I think we just have to get a solution. Because especially if Uganda is benefiting from programs similar to Kenya, then many nurses from Uganda and Tanzania as well applying. So what is the situation? We must really find a solution. And we believe in you, and we believe if we support you, I think we can be able to be somewhere. Thank you. On matters of harassment of members, not only in our committee, even other members have complained. It doesn't augur very well. We are representatives of the people. So when we go there to seek for those passports for those that we represent, it's only fair for those security to give the respect that it deserves to these members. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Let me this to the issues, also noting that time is constraining the members because of the rules of the House. Chair, I accept, I think we need culture change in our law enforcement space. Because for many years, as a country, we have taken that for you or for us to enforce the law, you have to be rude to the public. And it is not true. Some of the most secure countries in the world, the law enforcement officers apply two things. One is the rule on firmness, fairness, and non-discriminative enforcement approach. Because ridding the country from serious threats, terror, organized crime, drug issues, require very firm, consistent measure applied to all people. Because the moment you start treating the rich differently from the poor, in the process, that's where the cracks that hurt us get through or come from. In some countries, there is no VIP treatment on security checks. Every person using an international airport in some countries I don't want to name, they use one gate. Everyone. And it is not because it's not because that country doesn't realize there are some people who are high in society, but in the national interest. But secondly, in the best practices that we want to borrow from, that firmness, fairness, and non-discriminative approach must be tempered with courtesy. And it is possible. We've done an experiment. It's only that we don't have time. We have 3 multi-agency counter-terrorism roadblocks in this country, and those ones we will not remove them. In fact, we want to add to 13. One in Achas Post on the Moyale Isiolo Highway. One in Kanyonyo on the Garissa Mwingi Thika Nairobi Highway. And one in Sabaki because of the road from Garsen down to Malindi, Mombasa. The teams there are special teams and multi-agency. Almost 0 instances of corruption and the other stupid things that we are getting that are spoiling the good image of government law enforcement officials. They have helped the country thwart very serious threats, but they are also fairly polite. They will stop everyone, whoever you are. As Minister for Security, they will stop me at Kanyonyo because the road is blocked. So I can't pass until they know it is the minister. But they are also very courteous to members of parliament, governors. Oh, how are you, sir? We just want to make sure you're fine, and and you pass eventually. You've been stopped, but you've been treated well. The problem we have is to be stopped, and then you are treated rudely, and then you ask for a bribe. That's where the problem is. So we are working on it. We'll increase the counter-terrorism roadblocks to about 13. And save the country from this. And in terms of that, let me answer the other question, which was how many remain out of the 27? About 7. And they're not necessarily in one place. We keep on changing depending where the threat is reported to be coming from. For example, when we put Achas Post, the crooks that are trafficking in persons, trafficking in drugs, are now avoiding from Moyale. They go to Wajir North, to Buna, they go to Yamicha in Wajir, and then enter Isiolo through Kina, Maua. Then they also, once they avoid that, they also do a few other maneuvers here. They end up avoiding even coming to Nairobi. They use a place here near Tala. They get into the river, and we have intercepted very many lorries carrying aliens, carrying drugs around Mutito and Day, and so forth and so forth. So these roadblocks are not going to be even temporary in one place. It depends on which section of the road the threat is. So you might carry out an inspection and tell us what number you find at that particular time. The other issue, Chair, the A&A, which has been allowed to be retained by the Department of Immigration and Citizen Services is 3 billion annually. We want to escalate it to 5 billion. And we are going to make a commitment to the government through the National Treasury that other than creating efficiency, if the Immigration Department is facilitated with 5 billion shillings, first of all, right now, that department is collecting about 20 billion to the exchequer annually. They're asking to retain 5. We were given 3, which already is helping us. But if we get 5 billion, the revenue will jump from 20 billion to 100 billion a year. That's how serious it is. And the government is supportive, the National Treasury is supportive. I forgot, Chair, to thank the committee, but I thought I could do it at the end. That this committee has been extremely supportive, and part of the success in getting this money is the sweat and effort of your committee chair. I'm very grateful as the minister for making my work much easier. The vice chair has asked me to tell the committee why they should believe me, and I don't have an answer to that question. There is no reason, Honorable Vice Chair, why you should believe in me. But as a public officer, I am under duty to tell you what I am doing and what I expect. And so I implore on you and the committee to trust me. But in the unlikely event that you are unable to trust me, that is also okay, because I have no reason why you should trust me. But I'll do whatever I take, not because of the committee, because of the country, and because of the oath I have taken as a public officer to give my best effort and make sure that we manage the security of the country. So it is true, we didn't have money the other time. You yourselves are witnesses. Now we have money. So I cannot come here in the committee and pretend that we don't have money. But still the problem is there. That's also a reality. And when we engaged the suppliers, worldwide by the way, and I have assigned the National Intelligence Service of Kenya to support us, because as minister I'm unable to travel as the internal security minister. So the NIS have been supporting us, because again the possibility of tender wars and other nonsense clouding the whole national exercise is very real, and we've made a lot of progress. What the suppliers are saying, and that I'm now answering one of the last issues, but I'll answer all of them. The suppliers are not saying we will not get out of the problem. They are saying not, as we want the solution today. They are saying no, because there's a backlog, the demand is rising, we have supply chain, we can only supply these pieces per because there's a process. There's what we call an originating file, which now is available to the new suppliers. Then they manufacture something which is like a template, and then there's a whole process, and there are limitations. They are saying to be able to bring the situation in normalcy, and I'm talking about something that we discussed last week. They are saying we are going to still experience challenges for at least another 90 days or even more, even 100 days, until now the 7 days express service is restored, because the problem had accumulated, the backlog and the other complications that came by. And I hold the country a duty of truth. One of the members, I think, said we need to communicate to the country, and I agree that the picture that we are presenting at Nyayo House is actually disrespectful to the people of Kenya to come there and spend the day there, the whole day, a crowded place, no meals, some young children there, lactating mothers. It is not right. We must, even as we tackle this problem, which I'm saying I cannot promise it will end tonight, but it's in sight, because the fundamentals have been are in place. It's only now the clearing of backlog and the other things I've said about supply chain. We will find a way of stopping that crowding from next week somehow. Yeah, we better tell the people of Kenya the truth. Yeah, there's nothing secret. If you cannot get your passport today, we tell you we don't have it. The rest of it is okay. If Kenyans want to express their dissatisfaction, it's also their right to do so, rather than the picture we're having there. I agree, the corruption issues are still rampant there, and I have told all my colleagues there, we will have to clean up the place. We have begun somewhere, but we are not yet there. We've begun, but we are not yet there. We have a real problem. It's the police, it's the immigration officers, it's other agents who do the mix, the linking of the service provider, and we just ask for a little patience. We'll have to move even officers we suspect, even before getting evidence that they are corrupt. We have to move them just as a good practice. We have moved the procurement. I've directed the PS to liaise with National Treasury, the procurement people there, and the security agencies also are going to be moved, all of them, including police officers and everybody else. We just have to clean up this place. Maybe you can give us another 10 days to complete that exercise, then you can go and verify for yourself. Honorable Chair, I apologize on behalf of the Ministry of Interior for the indignified treatment of the Honorable Yakub and other members of Parliament and members of the public who have been mistreated, mishandled, and harassed at Nyayo House. I would be in a position to submit a written update on the investigations on the matters involving Honorable Yakub. It's only that I had not been asked to do so. So maybe in another 1 day or two I can submit in writing where we are. And we do not condone that. It is barbaric to assault a member of parliament for whatever reason whatsoever. And it's also wrong to assault a member of the public for whatever reason whatsoever. I apologize and take responsibility for that misdeed. And we pray that we continue getting your support until we clean that place. I believe in another year or so, Nyayo House will be a place of efficiency, one way or the other. We will create efficiency there. And it's not easy. There are all these dynamics, but we are determined and will deliver. The other thing, Honorable Chair, is Busia. We cannot remove the Busia. Yes, Busia roadblock, we can't remove it for security reasons, but we should discourage corruption, bribe taking, and rudeness. But that's one of the key roadblocks because of the complications emanating from Eastern DRC because of the war there. We cannot remove it. And then as I conclude, so many issues, I think some of them I can only provide maybe in writing, but the fees is not too high. I don't know whether you have tried looking for a visa to go to the US or UK. They even charge you for using the waiting area. A lot of money. Yeah, yes. What pains me as the minister is when Kenyans pay for a service and they can't get it. That is very, very disheartening. It makes me feel very low. So, but the fees are manageable. But they are manageable comparative. But now the challenge is for us to up our service level, the provision of. So I'm going to take over the public communications work to my office on issue of passports, because let me handle it. Let me handle it going forward so that we tidy that place. And then I didn't know I was required to come with my PS. If I knew, I would have brought him along, because if it's the requirement of the committee, we have no reason not to bring him along. Then finally, now that we have the money, the supply chain people are telling us we will have improved service immediately, but the problem will get out of the way in another 90 days or 100 days. I ask if I can be called after that to give an account of what we'll have done. I thank you. I submit.
Is it really bad? Because I'm getting some text here also that I must release you on behalf of.
Thank you, Chair. I want to thank Waziri with this presentation. Two quick questions, just an addition, supplementary questions. Maybe in your submission, you're saying you'll give in writing. We want to know the actual backlog. How many? What are the actual numbers in terms of the backlog? How many applications are we receiving a day? And then there is also an issue around the 34-page passport booklets, whereby Kenyans have made applications. I think it's the most popular booklet, but everyone is being told now to update and apply for the 50-page booklet. Are we stopping printing the 34-page, or what is the issue?
Is there a possibility that in your communication, as you said you'll take it, you tell the country when Kenyans who applied for these passports, how long have they been waiting? Because the issue around special health, education,
it is causing even bigger confusion, because two people come from the same home. One will meet someone and declare that I'm going for medical, get a passport. Another will wait for another whole year waiting for that. So I think there is that even makes that decision whether this is emergency and this one can wait. Thank you, Chair.
I think, Waziri, you don't necessarily need to respond, but maybe the IT can flag off the 34 so that Kenyans stop applying for it if it is not in the stock. Then they can only apply for 50. Instead of so many backlog of 34, and the booklet is not even available, so we continue to pile, and this is the massive noise. If it could be flagged off on the system, then they just apply what is available. For cost, I think it is also something to bring limit, because the fact that the president said people will be going, every other person, even if I have no intention to go, is applying. These are issues that are also creating backlog, but I'm sure internally they can be handled. Let's have the answers in writing. Also remember that the contract between immigration and posta, I think it elapsed in 30th of August. So what channels are you using to distribute? Maybe it can also be responded. With that, honorable members, I think I have more than 3 messages here that I should release you, but I think
How much time do I have, Chair, to...
2 minutes was...
No, how much time do I have to give the written... Because there are quite a number of even issues that were raised, but the time was short. Can I have like up to Wednesday?
In fact, take more than a week, so that you give us sufficient...
You can also put a paragraph through, Chair. Yeah. There is some members want to ask some things, but it is not coming out well. It's like there have been some saying that you work in silo, and your members, your servants, your support nets seem not to understand how you work. That's why somebody is asking, are you in the right relationship with your peers? Maybe you can put some paragraph in it.
I have no problem, but for heaven's sake, I'm the security minister of the country. Some of the things I do are national security things, so that limits 1 or 2 things which I report directly to the National Security Council. So if there is a uniqueness in my working, it is because of that element. Because my work is to protect the nation and everybody, and secure everybody, including big people and so forth. So then the backlog is almost now under 1,724,000. It's building based on the daily number of applicants and what we are dishing out. But allow me to do that in the written statement. And going forward, anything passports, I'll handle the public communications and I'll take responsibilities for the mess. When the mess is sorted out, everybody else can take the credit.
Thank you very much. I think if any question was not well captured by Waziri, put it in writing as well. The clerk will send, then he can answer together. With that, the meeting remain adjourned until a time that